Hello, mate.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Mate, long time no see.
I know. It's been a while.
Well, in a podcast sense anyway. We do catch up quite regularly, but no, for a podcast sense, it's been quite a while.
It has.
Grand final, just about, the week after. Trade period.
We wrapped up trade period.
Yeah.
That was the last one.
Yeah. Time flies.
It does. And it feels funny. I feel a bit funny in here.
Well,
It doesn't feel natural.
It's a makeshift setup. We don't have the normal podcast studio available to us today, so it's a little bit different, but that's all right. We make it work.
It's good. And like no laptops in front of us. Like it's very
We're holding the mics today.
very off the cuff. Like I like it. I don't know what to do with my hands almost. It's that famous quote.
Just keep them away from me, would you? That's all I ask.
But it's good. It's good. Yeah, very much looking forward to this. So it's we did it last year with great success. So
Absolutely.
gonna be
The
good.
Movember specials.
exactly.
So it's an important time of the year for us. We tend to get around this cause quite regularly. So it's it's very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, shall we get stuck in?
Absolutely.
All right, it's Movember time, and we're doing something pretty similar to last year. A little bit different. Actually, no, I'd say probably a fair amount of difference to last year.
Yeah, same sort of concept, but gone about it a different way. And once again, this year we've taken a bit of inspiration from the Imperfects podcast, who do this sort of thing regularly. We bring it in once a year. Obviously, with being a football podcast, we talk footy all year. So
But we are more than footy.
we are more than footy, as you'll learn pretty quickly. But yeah, we're more than footy. So once a year, or hopefully a bit more regularly, we can get into this sort of stuff and touch on some different topics, which is what we're going to do today. So you came up with the idea to do this. So would you like to explain the concept and what we're doing in the next two episodes?
Yeah, so I'll be going first over our thing like we did last year, and so we're going to have a few cards to pick from with different questions on them, and I'll pick one that I feel like I can answer the best, and pretty much go from there, and then we can just have a general conversation over the course of the episode. And I'll probably do most of the talking, but if you've got questions and things like that along the way, then jump in.
Yeah.
So it's similar to last year, essentially. But
Absolutely.
I'll have some. So I've got nothing planned. No, I don't know what I'm going to be talking about today.
Well, you haven't seen the questions. So
no, exactly.
I had a sneak peek before.
Yeah.
So at least I can sort of prepare myself a little bit. But
So where last year we prepared because we had the hero hardship,
Yeah.
highlight stuff, and the things we're going to talk about. So with this year, I'm going in completely blind. So I'm a bit nervous, but should be good.
No, absolutely. And once again, if you haven't picked on exploring the topics of vulnerability and men's mental health again,
Yeah.
so that's sort of the whole concept of this and why we're doing it, and in the name of Movember as well. So not to preach about it, but if you want to help donate and jump on the cause,
Press pause now and donate to our page.
Exactly.
Links in the bio.
go donate. Obviously helps and goes to a worthy cause. So absolutely jump on that. But shall we get into it? You haven't seen the cards.
No.
We've got the marketing manager with the cards on the sidelines here, but ready to hand them over. All right. One at a time.
First one. What emotional pain did you go through as a kid? Interesting. Second one. What insecurities have held you back? Does the future scare you? If so, why? Is there one big regret that you have in your life so far? Oh, jeez. It's four.
Four big questions.
Four big questions. Which one do I want to go through? There's probably a couple there that I'd definitely be able to, but do I have to pick? I just have to pick the one.
See, this is what makes it interesting that you haven't seen the questions.
No.
Now everyone else has to listen to you decide.
Yeah, let's go with insecurities. What insecurities have held you back?
All right,
We'll run with that.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hand the cards back, the other three. And let me just say something as well. I know, obviously, this is a serious chat and we're trying to get into it. And I'm refraining from trying to make jokes right now because it's something I normally do when I get in uncomfortable situations. So it's a big step for both of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just, when you were reading some of those questions out, I had some jokes I was going to throw in. I'm like, no, it's a serious day.
Yeah,
so let's, we can't joke about this sort of stuff.
No,
So.
they were pretty deep questions. I was expecting, things like that. But they were really good. Well done to our marketing manager
Well
for
done,
preparing
Elisa.
them.
Proud of you. She's proud of herself as well with the fist bump she's given over there. So she's loving the questions, but put a lot of work into those. And there'll be 4 new ones when it's my turn as well. So a lot of effort's going into this, which is what we love. It needs to be that way. So
Exactly.
we'll dip in. Do you want to repeat the question for those that may have forgotten with our spiel we just went on?
Yeah, so it's what insecurities have held you back over the course of your life. So, geez, it's where do I start? There's a lot. I think every human being is insecure in some way. Everyone's got their own insecurities, whether they want to talk about it or not. I guess for me, like a big one is probably the insecurity of what people think. Fear of judgment. I feel like I feel like I'm getting a lot better at it, but I feel like that fear of what people think and always feel like you're getting judged with everything you do, when really, in hindsight, no one really gives a shit. So I think that's the biggest thing, and it's probably stopped me from going to like social events and really being myself, which is something that's at the moment on a path of really focusing on that and getting through that. It's been, I think, for at least 26, 27 years of my life, it's been something that's always constantly on my mind. I'd leave a conversation with someone or a meeting with someone or any sort of social setting, and I'm like, shit, how did that sound? What are they talking about me? Like I'd be scared to like leave a table with a group of people, and because I feel like they'd be talking shit about me if I left. So I think that would probably be something that's definitely held me back over my life, but I feel like I'm getting a lot better at it now. So,
well, you said it was probably the first 25, 26, 27 years of your life. What over the last 3 or 4 years have you been doing to combat that? Because a lot of people would be in a similar situation. I know I'm the same in terms of trying new things. I sometimes question it because what will people think if I start doing this instead of the way I've always gone about it? So what things have you been doing to combat that?
It's just being yourself. Like I feel like people appreciate you being yourself more than anything. Everyone's got their own unique offering in this world, and it's just backing yourself in to know, actually, no, I'm happier when I'm being myself and being my own weird person. Like everyone's got their own unique abilities and things like that. And I'm just like, well, I'm living in a prison if I'm caring too much about what people think. Like they're dictating my life, where I'm not, where I can just dictate my life. I can, if you think I'm doing something weird, I don't care because at least I'm happy about it, I'm not saying you do that personally to me, but, you sort of you've probably got to drop a few people along the way as well. Like it's definitely made me realise who my real people are in my life, and because the real people that are going to stick around are going to accept you for who you are. So it's just coming to that realisation that, you don't need all these people in your life. You only need a small amount of quality people that are going to accept you for who you are, and you're going to be happier in the long run. So they're the big things. It's still an absolute work in progress. Don't feel like I'm fully there, but it's definitely something that I've been working towards over the last few years.
I feel like it's something that will forever be worked on. I don't think it's something that any one person can ever fully be comfortable with. I think it'll be something you can get better at it, obviously, but it'll be something that's going to be progressing throughout your whole life. I feel like as well, being honest and truthful with yourself sort of breeds honesty and truthfulness within other people. Have you found that where you might start being yourself with somebody else and you find out they had a similar interest, but they were a bit nervous to bring it forward, and now they see that you're doing it, they're like, oh, wow, I wish I was more confident. And then they start to sort of, do you ever find that sort of becomes the case?
Absolutely, yeah. You don't know how much of an impact you actually are having on someone when you are, the first one to sort of do that or be a bit more out there and really show your true self, because it makes other people feel a lot more comfortable to do that. Especially if you feel like us in our 20s, or
not for long,
but like people in their 20s, you're going through so much discovery as a person, and you got to try all these things, and people, you're still very much in that phase where, the more friends you have, the more accepted you feel, and you feel a lot more cool. Like it's you're purely based on ego in your 20s. But as you get older, yeah, you just got to, you sort of just want to be yourself more instead of trying to please everyone else, which is something I've definitely come to realise over the last few years. So, yeah, I can't even remember what your question was, but it was along those lines. I think I went on a bit of a tangent with that. But
yeah, well, I'm glad you're working on yourself. You should also start working on listening to questions when people are asking. Obviously, it's been spoken about in the podcast before, and last year it got mentioned in our Movember episodes, but you've got your partner, Kristen, now, who's been wonderful for you, or so you say. So have you noticed that having her around has helped you with this sort of stuff as well, like in sense that she obviously accepts you for who you are and you don't feel like you have to be fake around her? Have you found that having her around has helped as well?
Yeah, I think your partner's massive. Like if they're not, it's not going to last long if they're not accepting of who you are. And I think, and I think vice versa. Like I think she feels very accepted by me as well. And it works both ways. Like if you want to feel accepted for who you are, then you've got to accept other people for who they are. It's not a one-way street. So I'm a big believer in, what you put out in the world, you're going to get that back. So if you're accepting of other people and making sure you have the right people in your life as well, I think it's very important. A lot of people end up with bad relationships or just sticking through bad relationships because they settle or they don't want to, go through any pain. But having your partner, someone you live with and you spend a lot of your time with, has to be very important and very aligned with your values and who you are as a person. So, I mean, we have a lot of different traits. Like we're not two identical people that have the same interests, but we both accept who we are, and that's what makes it good.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And the next question I've got, it might be a tricky one to think of off the top of your head, which obviously all of this is. So I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. But is there any one particular moment or situation where this insecurity like really sort of hit home and was sort of a turning point almost to where you thought, I've got to start living for myself and not, be worried about what other people think? Was there any one moment where that sort of turned in your head, or?
Oh, not one moment, I think. It's probably just a build up of things over time. And, like I went through a pretty tough time in what I spoke about on the podcast last year, through this episode, where it was probably like an accumulation of everything just built up, and I just really had to reevaluate the way I was living my life. And that meant just surrounding myself with good people and, cutting off or you're limiting your time with the people that aren't making you feel great. So I'd say, probably around that period was a period where I just really had to reevaluate my life and do things because I love doing them and not worry about, what someone else is going to think. And because usually the people that give you shit for what you do are the ones that are jealous or they've got their own worst insecurities. So that's how I've tried to, to get through any, bullshit that comes your way, is just they're the ones with the issue, not yourself. So I think even starting a podcast was a pretty big thing to put yourself out there. When we first started it, I'd never done anything like this before. So and a bit of a worry about what people would think and things like that. So I think through that period, 2019, 2020 was definitely a period where I woke up and was like, I need to make a change in my life and figure out what's going to make me happy and what's going to make me live the best life I can. Because there was a period, especially through my mid-20s, where I was just constantly just worrying about what people thought and just trying to act cool in front of your friends and doing things that you don't even want to and saying yes to things just to fit in. So now I'm just the complete opposite. It's
a weird one because it's almost the easy option to sort of, I don't want to use the term be a sheep, but in a sense, follow the crowd, do what everybody else is doing because it's just easier and you don't get questions from other people. You don't feel like you're you're the one out there because you're doing your own thing that no one else really finds interesting. So I think it's a massive, massive leap to do that.
I was going to say a big one on like FOMO and fear of missing out and things like that. Like now I'm just like, if this event doesn't, inspire me or make me happy, or if it's not like a fuck yes, I'm not doing it, because otherwise you're just doing it just to please other people. Obviously circumstances are different. There's some things you just have to get to and show up for, but of course, for your things that you're just doing just to please other people or fit in, or you don't want to miss out, or you want to be there for the Instagram photos and things like that, then you're kidding yourself. So,
well, I think this one's really hitting home for me because I'm exactly like that. I'm still in that stage where I'll be doing things just because I know that it'll make someone else happy, and even if I don't really want to do it. And I feel like is it partly with some of the people I'm around, and maybe you feel like you're forced? I think a little bit yes, but then I think you also have to realize that those people, especially for me anyway, are close friends and stuff like that. They're not going to, at the end of the day, they're really not going to be that worried if you're just doing what's going to make you happy. I think they'll actually be happy that you're doing that. And I think it's probably realizing that, like you said before, that, if they're close and you value their friendship and they value yours, it'll go both ways and you'll both understand each other and be on the same page.
Yeah, and like the people that are meant to be in your life will be in your life regardless of, what you do. So you just got to find those people that are accepting of it, and whether you lose some along the way, then they're probably not really meant to be in your life. So, but I mean, easier said than done. It's a journey with this sort of stuff. So, so it's an ongoing process, but definitely something that I think majority of humans struggle with. I wouldn't say there's anyone out there that completely doesn't give a shit about what people think, or because I feel like the people that do say that are the ones that do. So I think it's just to do what makes you happy, and just trying to catch that belief and challenge those thoughts.
Absolutely. Well, I think the biggest thing is, like we're doing now, is talking about it. So I think if you're one of those people that, well, like we said, most people probably would be. If you're one of those people that does have this same insecurity, the best thing to do is just talk to whoever you think is the closest person to you. It doesn't matter who it is, mum, dad, brother, sister, best friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Just speak to someone close and sort of say, look, this is how I'm feeling about this, this, and this. And I think you'll find it's probably the best first step you can take into sort of not caring anymore about what other people think about you. And obviously there's books and podcasts and all that sort of stuff you can listen to. But I think the best thing to do is talk to probably the people that are closest to you first, because they'll be the ones to reassure you that I don't care that you do this or that makes you happy. That's what makes you happy. I'm glad.
Yeah.
And I think once you start to hear that from those around you, you start to realize who you do value and who you don't.
Yeah, exactly right. And just, and again, it just comes back to that, like, would you rather be living the life that you want to live than living the life that someone else wants you to live? Which is always sort of, which has always stuck with me. I've listened to a lot of podcasts and things like that, and educated myself around the topic. And it's just, you've only got one life, why don't you live it doing what you want to do and not trying to please everyone else in the process? So,
exactly right.
Good things to live by.
Well, I think that's a very good message you sent across there. That was it was a good card you picked as well. There was a few good questions there. It was a good one you picked out there. It got right into it there. And I think, do you feel better getting some of that off your chest?
Well,
I know it's good talking about it, like I said.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Like, I feel like it's probably something I don't speak about too much, but I feel like I've spoken about it a lot, with, to myself, that, that it almost feels natural to be talking about it. So, but no, it's good. And then I think if I can help anyone out there that's, going through the same thing, which I'm sure there are, then job's done, really. So I'm pretty passionate about this sort of stuff too. And, whether I, do something in, personal development and things like that down the track, then we'll see what happens. But I'm more than happy to help anyone out. And if anyone, I think after last year's podcast, I got a few messages from people saying, that it helped them, with what they were going through at the time, and just someone to relate to. And if we can do the same again, then make me feel very happy. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, obviously this advice, I wouldn't say advice as much as it is just sort of talking to each other about it, but I guess is relevant to anybody listening. But obviously the Movember side of things is more dedicated to men's mental health and vulnerability in that space. So do you think that there is a guy's culture, or stereotypical guy's culture that goes around, says, it's not accepted to talk and all that sort of stuff. And I think that's rapidly changing, as we've seen. Do you think in terms of not caring about what other people think, do you think that that boys' culture, in quotation marks there, really makes a big difference in that space? And like, that's sort of why it's harder for guys to sort of do their own thing, because of that boys' culture, or you don't want to dog the boys and, miss out on things. Do you think that is a big influence?
Oh, absolutely. It's toxic, that sort of stuff. Like I've experienced a lot of that. Through my 20s. Being around footy clubs and very male dominated environments where it's it's all about that sort of stuff. But don't get me wrong, like that's very important to have male male catch ups and male events and things like that. And banter's great. Like that's a way for boys to connect. Really, it's good fun. All in
all in good jest.
In good jest. Like if you're crossing the line, then obviously it's not on. But I feel like we are getting better at it for sure. I feel like 10 years ago there was probably too much, like that real toxic masculinity, that phrase that we hear a lot now. But some of the stuff I still see these days with that sort of like some groups of boys that hang out. I'm just like, some of these guys don't look happy, but they're just doing it because they don't want to dog the boys. They're just doing it for the boys. It's all about looking cool, and really they're not happy. Like it's you're just doing it. I mean, yes, they are young. They're still young, but they will eventually get there. But I feel like we can make a big difference in there because just got to change those environments. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think this commercial kind of makes me think about that. And obviously, commercial is not directly related, but the idea surrounding it is. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But there's a Canadian club commercial that's been out in the last year and a bit. I haven't seen it in a little while now, but it was where everyone in there is drinking a beer and one guy goes and grabs a Canadian. And then they were sort of, when someone went to say something about, you're not even drinking a beer. And it's like, well, why do you drink beer? And he's like, I drink beer because he drinks beer. And I drink beer because my dad drank beer. But no one actually wanted to drink the beer. And I think that commercial, while it's about, selling Canadian clubs, I think that is sort of relevant in life in general, where people do things just because someone else did it. But then that other person might have been doing it because someone else was doing it.
Yeah.
Or because of the idea around what, surrounded it. So I think it's a big thing just to do what you want to do. And you'll find that people will probably end up following you because it seems like you're having a better time doing what you enjoy.
Exactly. Yeah. Like if all your boys are having a beer but you want to have a vodka lime soda, have that vodka lime soda. Like you'd be surprised. Like no one actually cares, if you're being that odd one out. Like, they might give you shit for it, but it's not as serious as you think it is in your head. Talking to myself here because that's how I used to be. You don't want to be that guy that's going to be a little bit different, or that fear of you're going to get bullied for it, which probably did happen, and it's probably why I was so scared at the time to do what you truly want to do. And but it's just things like that where it's just you don't have to have a 3-day bender on the weekend just because everyone else is. You can just have the one night and then chill out for the other two. Man, if you really want to do that, then absolutely. But I feel like there's a lot of blokes I've spoken to that are like, I just got to do that. I just got to do that. Like, you don't have to. You can just.
You've got a choice.
You've got a choice. You can call it if you want to. So,
Well, for any of the Elsoming boys listening, you can go to bed early on footy trip. Looking right into the camera for that one. But but then that's another example as well. Like, you can do what you want to do. Like, footy trips are they're meant for that. Those big benders and things like that. Which is where there's a place for it, absolutely. But make sure you're doing it because you want to, not because you're trying to fit in and you feel like you have to because you're a part of the footy club. Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Just do what makes you happy and what you're going to enjoy. If you're doing something but you're not enjoying it at all, then there's no point.
Yeah.
There's no point. And let's be honest, no one wants you there if you're not enjoying it, because then you're bringing the mood down to the people that do want to be there.
Yeah.
And then, it's a no win for anybody. So
exactly.
You're better off just doing what you want and everyone's happy.
Well, one thing I used to be really bad at was smoke bombing.
Ooh.
So I used to, that fear of, I didn't want to say goodbye when I was out because I didn't want to cop the shit. Like, why are you leaving now? Don't leave now. It's, all that sort of stuff. So I'd just leave and not deal with it, which in hindsight, I wish I didn't. I wish I wasn't scared to just say goodbye. But at the time, it was like I didn't want to let them down. I didn't want them to didn't want them to think like I can't handle it on the night out and things like that. Where now I'll be like, no, I'm going, see ya.
But even if you can't handle it, like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Where like, and my mates used to give, and they still give me shit. I haven't done it probably since for a while now. But yeah, I still get, saucer smoke bombing, blah, blah, blah. Like, which is fair enough. Like, because in hindsight, I shouldn't have. Yeah. But yeah, I shouldn't have cared too much at the time. And if you just want to go, just go. You know, they don't. Yeah. You'd rather be around someone that wants to be there than not. So.
Oh, exactly. Well, you could almost look at it as a compliment in times if people don't want you to leave because they enjoy in your company and they don't want you to go. But then you've just got to be strong enough to say, nah, I'm actually going. Like, thanks, appreciate it, but I'm gonna have a better time if I leave. So thanks anyway.
And then that's just that. Yeah, that fear of judgment, disappointing people and letting people down. Where in hindsight, you just say, I've had enough. I'm gone. See ya.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of going, we've probably had a good conversation here. Do you?
Oh, do you want to end it?
No. I was saying, where do you want to go from here in terms of, like you said, you're progressing with getting better with this sort of stuff. What do you think the next step is? Just continual improvement, or is there a certain goal you have in mind? Like, is there something you're not doing in that space that by next year you want to be doing, or is it more just general progression?
It's just general progression. I don't think we're ever finished products in this world. I feel like we're always growing and learning and things like that. Something I do want to get a lot better at is journaling and like getting my thoughts out there. And whenever I'm going through like a stressful or anxious time, just to like write it down. And which is something I've tried in the past, but I've never stuck with it. And you hear a lot of people saying journaling changed their life. So I want to get a lot better at that. Just writing down everything I'm sort of feeling and thinking. And I think once you have things on paper, it's easy to manage and try and problem solve from there.
Absolutely. Well, it's a beautiful thing now that a lot of companies and people are actually releasing like journals specific to certain topics. Like I know at the moment I've got one from the Resilience Project and I've been trying to fill that in, but I'm the same. I'm not consistent enough. And then when I am consistent, I probably don't read back to see what things I wanted to improve on. So I might write something on the Monday, just say, on Thursday, I'm not looking at what I said on Monday, where I probably should be going back just to see what I didn't enjoy or what I did enjoy, et cetera, et cetera. And then there's other ones that include fitness goals in there for those that are interested in that sort of stuff. And I think it all circulates into one sort of general topic, which is a good thing. And they're available and they're sort of everywhere at the moment. So you don't have to get a blank book like you used to back in the day. Like these ones prompt you to write certain things down that, and obviously professionals have sort of written them up. So sort of put you in the right direction, I think, which are really good.
And the good thing about it, like you can look back on it in a few months' time and see how far you've come and be like, I can't believe that was annoying me at the time, like it's a good metric of your progression and your self-development. So, so if that's the first thing that comes to my mind, when there's something that I want to improve in this space, it's that and meditation as well as another one. Like you do it and you think, one meditation session is going to cure all, but no, you just got to be consistent with it all.
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception with meditation as well is that people think that when you're meditating, you have to have no thoughts going through your head, whereas that's actually impossible. Like I don't know of anyone that can just sit down and have not one thought running through their head. It's not. It's completely impossible, and that was the biggest thing with me. I don't know how to meditate. Wouldn't know where to begin, and then you watch a few videos, you read a few things, and you sort of start to think, well, actually. Me just sort of thinking about stuff just in a quiet space, that technically counts as meditating. Like it's going to be different. It's going to look different for everyone. I think it's about finding out what that looks like for you and then just taking it on head first.
Yep, exactly right. So they're important things and they're starting to get normalised now, which is great. So I think it's going to help a lot of people and they're game changers if we all stick to it. So, but no, I'm happy with the way things are progressing now, which is good. And been saying that when this episode goes out, I'll probably be curious as to what people are thinking about it. But it's natural in some instances. So, but you just got to catch yourself on those ones where they get a bit out of hand.
Well, that's the thing, and I think thinking about what people are going to say and just being curious is one thing, but then it's getting upset or letting it bother you that what they think is where it becomes dangerous. So I think it's finding that perfect in between where you want to be curious, of course, you want to know, it's just natural, not going to change that, but just don't let it bother you and upset you and just keep going about your day to day.
Exactly right. And yeah, as I said earlier, if this can help anyone, and I'm more than happy for people to reach out and message me. I love this sort of stuff and I love helping other people unlock their full potential and live a great life. So happy to chat about it, and mate, we can chat about these things. They don't have to be in a microphone as well. So if you've got any things you want to chat about, I'm all open. So
I don't think I can afford your time, but I do appreciate the offer. It's meant a lot. This guy always wants lunch or dinner or something when we catch up. There's always something on the line.
There's try to add value. You got to make the most of these things and try to make it the best experience possible.
Absolutely, all fun and games. Obviously, that's not the case.
I know.
I wouldn't go get this guy out for dinner because he wouldn't shout if a shark bit him.
Oh, here we go.
Told you I had to get a gag in somewhere.
There we go.
It's been too long. I've been too serious. So
Yeah.
I had to get something in.
Well, it's probably a sign that we should wrap up then.
Yeah, well, you want to go? I think we've definitely probably hit the mark now. Ready to wrap it up. Call it quits for this episode. Obviously, the next one will be my turn.
Yep.
The 4 cards, which Elisa over there will write up, hopefully, and come up with some good ones. Hopefully, they're ones that I can answer with as much depth as you've gone into today. So really appreciate you opening up and sharing again for the second year of our Movember apps.
No worries, mate. Absolute pleasure. And love this stuff. So looking forward to your one next week. So, please donate to Movember.
Absolutely. The link to our page will be hopefully in the bios. And
it's in our bio, on our link tree. So, you can
go.
donate through there. So, be much appreciated.
Beautiful. We'll see you for the next step.
Talk soon.